Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Astrology and our Friday segment, Venus Fridays, When Love Speaks. I'm Lorenzo Sanford, your host, and today I'm honored to share with you a very, very talented, a very kind, a very resourceful, an entrepreneur, someone who is just on top of the game, making strides in so many different ways. And we're going to talk about creativity, spirituality, and love. And our guest today is none other than Miss Chantel Hampton. Chantel, you've heard her voice, but you don't know who she is. And today, hopefully, we're going to change all of that. I'm going to give her the opportunity to express some of what she's done and some of what she's working on. So without any further ado, let's check out this interview with Chantel, and I'll see you on the other side. Chantel Hampton
Hey,
in the house. How
hello.
are you, dear?
I'm good. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm fine. I'm so happy to finally have you on. I want to know everything. I want you to tell our viewers everything I've already told them in the intro that they've
Okay.
heard your voice a lot, but they don't know who you are and who the person behind the voice is. So first of all, let me say thank you for coming on Venus Fridays When Love Speaks. And we are going to talk about all things Venus, which is creativity, spirituality, love. And I just want you to introduce yourself and let our viewers know who you are. I've said that you're a recording artist and that you are an entrepreneur, and they've heard your voice. So let's start there. Where have we heard your voice?
Oh man. Um, well, probably on Saturday Night Live. I've done some specials, background vocals and specials for that. I've worked with Charlie Wilson. I've worked with J Lo, Sting, Sierra.
Wait, you worked with Sting?
Yeah, I did vocal arrangements and yeah, backgrounds.
Can I tell you now that I hate you? Sting is one of my favorite.
I love Sting. That
It's
was
like
like,
I had no idea.
yeah, I love Sting. I think that was like a dream come true. Like when I got that call, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. So,
Oh my God, I no longer like you. Sting, I mean,
no,
like for me, it's Stevie Wonder, Sting, um, Marvin Gaye. I mean, come on, Sting. You work with Sting?
yeah, I mean, not directly, but indirectly and literally. I mean, I've been blessed to do most of my work from home. Um,
What do you mean from home?
So I record everything, I arrange everything literally from my house, sometimes in my closet um, for acoustic sake. And it's just been a blessing where I've been in a time and I got a lot of jobs and a lot of work last year, which was a time that was tough for a lot of artists. And um I was blessed to be able to get phone calls because so many shows were aired like recorded, pre-recorded, and aired that way. So they needed people that could record and edit and send stuff back. So I was blessed to be able to have that skill and that resource and be able to do it and turn it around as quickly as I could. And so, yeah.
Oh my
And
God.
I've worked with Lorenzo, and I
Oh,
and I
please,
worked with
don't even try
I
it.
worked with my good sister Tia Fuller, who was interviewed a couple of weeks ago. And
Yes.
no, I've just I mean, apart from just being a recording artist, my first love and passion has been teaching. And so I've worked as a professor for 8 years at Berkeley College of Music and now Full Sail University in Florida. So yeah.
Wow, that's stunning. So you are the definition of she got game, right? Because
I mean,
because you have You have the creativity, you have the education, you have the entrepreneurship, which we're going to get into. But to just draw it back into astrology, I'm looking at your chart over here, and you have Jupiter in the sign of Pisces. So that means you're gifted in the area of all things creativity. I mean, we're in Pisces season now, and
Yeah.
now the Sun is in Pisces, Venus is in Pisces, Neptune is in Pisces. So the
Hey.
whole world is getting inundated with Piscean energy, but a lot of people don't know what that is. But I
Right.
have to say, you are the embodiment of Pisces energy because you have the unlimited creativity and you have this desire to share and to serve. I know this. And you also have Jupiter in Pisces in the second house. So that means you get
Hey.
paid doing it. That's beautiful. So how do you combine all your different streams? You already spoke about the recording, but talk about more about the education and the entrepreneurship, please.
Wow. Honestly, it's a journey. It's a work in progress. I think over the years, I mean, I started as an artist really at the age of 14. And
I'm stopping this now. No, I gotta. I'm leaving. 14.
yeah, that's when I told my coach, which was my dad, that I was like, you've worked with everybody else. I need you to work with me now. And so at 14, I started pursuing the art, but at that time just developing certain skills. So I mean, just like recording skills, learning how to write business plans. My dad was like making me write business plans at 14. So discovering that. But I think at that time, it's been a work in progress because I felt like, well, what am I actually good at? Like, what should I be doing? And how do I do everything and do everything well? And that's been, honestly, that's been a challenge and a work in progress. But as far as I'm seeing how they're all combining and how they're combining. When I was at Berkeley, my family and my family started a nonprofit back in 1998, and that nonprofit had been running and has been running ever since. So when I was in at Berkeley, we started another entity, which was a nonprofit record label. And what that label did was partner artists with charitable causes. And so we were able to raise funding and money for that side. And from there, my business partner for my for profit business, he was also a colleague at Berkeley, musical director. He was like, well, I have this idea. We both had an idea of figuring out a way we can help the musicians coming and transitioning out of school get them work and provide just different outlets for them to be able to make a living using their gift. So he was like, well, I see you're doing that. We worked together on that. And he was like, let's do this together. So we built the business. It's called Spectrum Music Group. And with Spectrum Music Group, we have consistently a all-star band, which is a band of about four guys, and they all play for the artist, the R&B artist Her. And so we're responsible for developing Her's live performance sound and her stage, her staging stuff. So any of the tours, any of her performances, our company we pretty much put that together, and the team put that together. And then so that's how we've been able to combine it. So I have students that work with us to help do that stuff. And then while I was at Berkeley, I taught strictly music, so voice, and worked in the performance division where I worked with about like 8 different bands. But when I moved from Boston and down to Florida, Full Sail hired me for the business department. So I do artist development. I teach artist development there. And that's always been a passion of mine, especially being on the other end and seeing how to push artists out and equip them with the tools that they need to succeed, and think out of the box as artists, not just one dimensionally, not just the music, but think full spectrum. So that's where we got the title Spectrum Music Group. So yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Can you sing something for us?
Oh my gosh.
Anything.
Oh Lord.
Anything.
Um, Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world, so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Lord have mercy. That is amazing. I'm gonna next I'm gonna give you the phone book and ask you just to sing the phone. That is so, you have such a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
And I know that there's also a very big spiritual component to everything you do. So um, partly because Venus deals with spirituality, especially now that it's in Pisces, and Jupiter in Pisces deals with spirituality, and you have both planets very strongly um, aspected in your chart. Tell us about your spiritual component and how that informs what you do.
My relationship and connection to God has been literally, for lack of a better phrase, my saving grace. To know one that there is a being, an energy, a source that is bigger than me, that created all that we see, all that I am, and all that is around me, and to be connected to that has helped me on some of the hardest days of my life. Um, as you, I mean, you haven't mentioned it, but as you know, I was diagnosed with a chronic illness, both fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis. When I was about 22, I was diagnosed, but I dealt with the pain since I was like 10. And it's honestly, there were days where I just felt like I couldn't move, I couldn't do anything, I wanted to give up. But to feel the peace and the comfort of God, and to feel that I could go on, and to that push and that nudge, and to see that in the midst of dark places, He would shine light. Um, it's kept me. It's really kept me. God's kept me. And so if I can spread that love anywhere and everywhere I go, that's what I'm about. I feel like that's my purpose, more apart from everything else that I've been able to accomplish, apart from any job or any title or anything. The love and the light is the most important thing to me.
That's a powerful testimony. But I want to I want to ask you something that may be a little bit uncomfortable, but I want you to talk freely about it. How do you square your love for God and spirituality with your interest in astrology? Because a lot of people think that there is a disconnect between the two. And I know you have an interest in astrology, and I know you're a woman of God. So how can you make us understand, or maybe even allow other people to have some insight to how that can work together, or not be a conflict?
Right. So growing up in church, as we know, we're taught that, oh, it's evil, don't do that, don't do. But I've always felt that there was something wrong with it. For somebody to make a blanket statement that the planets, the sun, the moon, the stars that God created, and their meaning, like why He created them, would be evil. That never made sense to me, for as long as I can remember. So I was always rebellious and sneaky and go look at it anyway, because I didn't was like, that doesn't make sense. Um, and from the God that I know that everything in my life, um, there's been a meaning behind it. And the word of God says, and all thy getting, get an understanding. So how can you look at something and not understand what it is, and just go about it and just let people tell you what it is and what they think, but you don't question and you don't ask? And so that's been my mission and journey in life, to question and to ask God, well, what does that mean? Because I want to understand. And if you're going to make something, if you're going to make a planet as big as Venus, if you're going to make a star as big as the sun, if you're going to put that in the sky and it serves a purpose, and everything around us, not just this earth, but everything is functioning and connecting together, why? and how does it affect us? And so for me, the only thing that could be evil is if we make these things gods, because they become idols. They're not an idol. They're a tool to learn and understand how he's functioned and how he's caused the systems in our creation to function and work and how they affect us. So that's my spiel on it. And I know for a lot of people it's uncomfortable, especially in the Christian background and religion. But I feel like even in this, and this might be controversial to say, but I feel like we don't ask enough questions. We don't ask enough of the right questions. And that's why a lot of us aren't fully aware of what God is doing, because we don't ask the right questions. So
I really appreciate that answer, because, as you know, I talk a lot about how in the beginning of the Bible, there's this description of the three wise men who follow the star. And the only thing we know about the three wise men is that they're wise, they traveled a long distance, and they followed a star. And that star was that led them to the birth of the Christ.
right.
And so the Bible says they're wise.
Right.
And it seems to me that, as you said, there's a lot of information that we can gain by opening up ourselves to different forms of knowledge and instruction. And if God put those planets up in the sky, my goodness, they have to have some value and some meaning.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me to sit there. It's like, okay, he made those for nothing. They're just sitting there. And they're that powerful, and they have that much of an effect on Earth, and there's no reason behind it. Like, that's dumb. Honestly.
I'm glad you said it. I agree, but I'm glad you said it. And I, in the brief time that we have left, I just want to also ask you about how you are now branching out and doing things to inspire people through. Tell our audience how you're using your gifts to inspire people.
Well, okay. So one of the things that I'm working on is have this whole movement. It came to me. It's called the Brave Evolution.
Evolution.
Yes, and it's all about taking brave steps towards growth. That no matter where you are, what you're going through, what you're dealing with, there's always something you can grow in. There's always areas in your life that you can grow in and utilize to push yourself forward. That's my whole thing. Like, okay, I know I'm in pain, I know I'm hurting, but I have to grow and I have to push myself forward. I can't get stuck and complacent here. So that's what the Brave Evolution is about. So I'm getting ready to in the next month or so release a book, which is a 30-day devotional used as a meditation guide to help you like take specific areas of your life that you're struggling in, look at it and meditate on it and face it. And then I'm launching a coaching program also next month along with the book to help other people that could be struggling with chronic pain. They want to heal and they want to work on the mental health, the emotional health, and the physical health that comes along with dealing with a chronic illness. It takes a toll on your mind. It takes a toll on your body, and it takes a toll on your emotions. So I want to deal with that and then help people discover their purpose and find out, like, really connect with God and connect with the source to discover their purpose. And lastly, launch their business or their purpose, create a product that allows them to make money from their home. So that's my project right now, and really just coaching people through using their struggles to heal from it and launch. So
I love it. I love it. And you also are saying, even though you haven't said it, but you're saying that you don't have to just do one thing.
No.
Right? You're making your evidence that
right.
Use all of your gifts.
Use your gifts. If you've been given multiple gifts, sometimes there's a season to use it. and then you put it down, and then the next, you know when to use certain gifts. So that's why it's important to like understand the times and the seasons, which I feel like astrology is about. um,
Definitely about the terms of
understanding,
yes.
understanding the times and the seasons and what is going to be beneficial not only to you but to your tribe in that time. And so yeah, so utilizing these gifts, I mean people have many talents, but there's moments where you can use them all together and moments where you have to choose one, do that, and then do the next, and then do the next. So yeah.
That's beautiful. And I have to tell you that my favorite talent of yours is your generosity. You are such a generous soul. And I I have benefited from your generosity because you have helped me with music. You've helped me with branding my astrology business. You have been a person who has been an ear to lean on. And so your generous spirit is the perfect embodiment of all that Piscean energy that we're living with now and people are experiencing, but you have it in your chart, you have it with Jupiter, and it's just manifesting you in such a beautiful way. And I just want to just give honor to you for being this beautiful soul that you are inside and out.
Thanks, Lo. I appreciate you so much, so very much, and um, I feel like I've been pushed and catapulted further because of my relationship with you and your family. So I'm grateful, so grateful.
Thank you so much for saying that. And would you like to join me in saying
Yes.
namaste?
Namaste.
Thank you for being here, Chantel.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was a great interview. I know you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you, Chantel, for sharing your gifts, your ideas, your spirit with us. And thank you for joining us again for Venus Fridays when Love Speaks. If you want a reading, you can reach out to us at astrologicastrology.com. And we are also on Instagram at Astrologic Astrology and, of course, on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we wish you love and peace. And we say goodbye with the Sanskrit word namaste. The spirit in me honors and recognizes the spirit in you.